Scientists currently know of 526 shark species, most of which are merciless killers. Reports of shark attacks on humans and horror movies like Steven Spielberg's Jaws have indeed created a very scary image of sharks. Many of us think that there is no one more dangerous than these creatures in the sea, and that they themselves have no one to fear at all. This will be big news to some, but in fact, sharks are pretty cowardly creatures and they have a lot of enemies. In 2019, photographer Darren Verbeek dived into the waters off the coast of Hawaii and saw a shark that was clearly engaged in a battle with a very large creature. This news is a great reason to list all the natural enemies of sharks, some of which can tear these predators apart. First, let's sort out what kind of enemies sharks have in general. I'll tell you about the injured shark that was involved in a battle with some sea monster closer to the end. So, sharks have at least three main enemies: orcas, whose body length reaches 10 meters, dolphins, which pose a great threat to sharks because of their cohesion and advanced intelligence, and other sharks that don't mind gorging themselves on their own kind. One of the main enemies of sharks are orcas, which belong to the group of toothed whales. By themselves, they rarely attack sharks, but if predators decide to attack a sick individual or a cub, a group of orcas can start to hit them hard with their huge tails. After inflicting severe injuries, the toothed whales finish off the sharks with lethal bites. Sometimes sharks are so confident that they dare to attack a lone killer whale. Indeed, why be afraid of a one-on-one battle? But, almost always, the sharks make a fatal mistake. Orcas are so smart that they don't waste their energy in vain and strike only at the shark's most vulnerable spots, namely the gill slits and flanks. Having sustained serious damage, the overly bold sharks are defeated. Sharks also get into big trouble when they dare to attack a pack of dolphins. They usually do not do this and stay away from the intelligent mammals, but, in the case of an attack, the sharks also suffer severe gill slit injuries and die. And all because dolphins have a very developed intelligence and in groups act exclusively in unison. And teamwork, in most cases, always leads to victory. There are many cases where packs of dolphins defended not only themselves but also people from shark attacks. One such case occurred on August 28, 2007 on the shores of the U.S. state of California. Then 24-year-old Todd Andrews went surfing with friends and was attacked by a dangerous white shark. The predator bit him 3 times and skinned his back and legs. The sportsman was saved by a suddenly appeared group of dolphins, which surrounded the poor guy and carried him to shore. The dangerous shark, by all appearances, was frightened by the group of rescuers and swam away. Sharks engage in battles not only with other predators, but also with congeners. For example, in the Pacific, Atlantic and Indian Oceans are inhabited by the so-called Brazilian luminous sharks, Icistus brasiliensis. Despite its relatively small body size of about 50 centimeters, they indiscriminately attack the aquatic life and tear off pieces of meat from them. Usually, sharks move alone, but members of this species hunt in packs. So, if an ordinary shark gets in their way, it will surely be in trouble. But for people, Brazilian sharks do not pose a particular danger. And that's because they are very difficult to bump into. They live only in the open ocean and rarely swim to shore. A few attacks have been recorded, but in general people should not worry about them. Now, let's get back to the shark that photographer Darren Verbeek captured on camera. On the coast of Hawaii, he managed to photograph a long-winged shark, which had unusual shaped scars on its back. They did not look like tooth marks, so the man decided to ask for help from scientists from the U.S. state of Florida. Researchers immediately announced that the scars were left by the tentacles of a giant squid. Apparently, a long-winged shark was looking for food and sank to a depth of more than 300 meters, where it met with Archaeotis, a squid, the length of which can reach 8 meters. According to the researchers' calculations, the shark was attacked by a 2-meter-long individual, which did the damage with jagged rings located inside the suction cups on its long tentacles. As you can see, sharks have a huge number of enemies, from which they try to stay away. But at the same time, they are considered to be very hardy creatures, which can withstand a lot. For example, in 2019, I wrote that these aquatic predators take almost no damage from heavy metals in their blood. Thanks to them, scientists can find out how clean the water is in certain regions of our planet.